Argentina is a country in southern South America, making up most of the bottom half of the continent. It is one of the more prosperous countries in the region, being the third largest economy after Brazil and Mexico, and has a rather high standard of living. Argentina is a very interesting blend of European cultures, not just Spanish. It has a good blend of African as well as indigenous heritages. As such, its nationalism has been an important factor in the development of the Argentine state. Like most of the region, Argentina was part of the Spanish Empire, but unlike most parts, Argentina was largely underdeveloped by the Spanish due to the lack of mineral resources. Unlike Peru and Mexico that had gold and silver, which made them develop faster because Spain was willing to put more work into them, Argentina was left largely by itself, until the Spanish decided to create a viceroy and unite many of the isolated towns in the region. It was only in the early 1800s when the English attempted to invade that made the Argentines galvanize themselves into thinking that they were one people and one country. This gave way to the War of Independence, which lasted from 1810 to 1818, and then a further civil war which lasted until 1880, which brought all the parts of the country together. By the early 20th century, Argentina was culturally beginning to emerge, and it was slowly defining what it meant to be Argentine. Because of the heavy European influence due to immigrants from southern Europe, one of the national figures that began to arise were the gauchos, and became one of the most important parts of the Argentine identity. In contrast to the mainly white people that were arriving in Argentina at the time, the gauchos were men of indigenous and African descent, as well as Creoles, people who were born in Latin America of mainly Spanish origin. In stark contrast to the people in the cities, especially Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina, a city that largely resisted consolidation for a very long time. Juan Perón comes to power in 1943 and significantly changed the dynamic of Argentine nationalism, and really looked at the populace and their effects on history. But that view became polarizing in the 60s and 70s. The left and right factions began to fight each other, and the nationalist fervor declined. The 1980s brought Argentine nationalism back to the forefront when they battled against the British yet again, this time for the Falkland Islands, or the Malvinas if you're from Argentina. Argentina as a culture has changed significantly. It has mixed and matched different cultures in order to keep itself together. Argentine nationalism has been an important factor. Like most nations in the region, nationalism has played a big part in the history of Argentina. Come back next time when we look at Armenia. Until then.